Do you ever find yourself feeling some way unworthy? You just keep feeling you're not good enough, you don't matter, nobody wants you, you're not loved the way you are, maybe people don't hear you. And you know that's happening, but you can't quite pinpoint why that is. In today's video, we are going to uncover the actual hidden reasons for lack of self-worth and how you can go deeper and find out what's actually holding you back and how you can change that debilitating pattern that you might have had all your life. And please stay to the end, because I am going to reveal to you the most important shift that you can make to completely get out of that poor me, nobody wants me, nobody loves me kind of identity. So this is something that I've discovered recently, and it is really, really empowering. Okay, so today I want to welcome you again to my channel. I am Carolina Cummins. I am an energy healer, a self-love mentor, and I love to elevate your consciousness. I love to help you to get out of that victim identity of thinking you're not worthy or you're not loved, and to come back to your true self so that you can empower yourself. Okay, so let's dive into this really important topic that we all have, whether you are man or woman. In some ways, we all kind of put ourselves down, belittle ourselves, or think we are not good enough. And anything to do with feeling that we are not good enough, even if you think like you might have a fear of doing things wrong, which probably, I don't know, 70% of the population has. It's just a guess. And when you're fearing that other people might criticize you, you obviously are not valuing yourself enough, right? You're fearing that what you're doing could not be enough. Okay, so let's go deeper. So you probably keep thinking similar thoughts again and again and again. Yeah, like nobody really cares if I die today. That's what I used to think. I used to think if I die today, it probably would take a week until anybody would notice. Pretty low self-esteem. And I used to think also that I'm not worth anything, not more than a silly earthworm. And I used to think I am not important. If I'm the last on people's list. That's how I saw the world around me. And that's happened, of course, in my childhood. And you might think a very pattern that I see in my clients often is they think, I don't matter. And that's a deep unworthiness issue, It's like everything revolves around that belief, I don't matter. And then from that belief, other thoughts arrive that are, again, very debilitating, and they make us feel very low in energy. And it, of course, can spiral depressions. So when you want to empower yourself, there is this most important thing that you need to do. But what we do usually is we are trying to be better. We are trying to be more worthy. We are trying to be enough for our partners or our parents. We are trying to listen to them, please them. I mean, this is a pattern that usually derives from thinking I'm not worthy or I'm not loved the way I am, so therefore I have to please people around me. So you're trying to change things on the outside. That's always the first course of action we all do, because we don't know any better. That's the way our brain is making us work, That's what you need to do. That's what the brain says. But who is feeling the way you are? You, right? And where are those feelings? They're deeply seated in your unconscious mind, in your body, and in your mind in general. These are patterns that are stored in your body, in your unconscious mind, which is actually the same thing. And your body and your unconscious mind will keep on delivering them to you, basically, because that's the programming you have placed there through repetition, through thinking again and again, oh, look, there again, he's forgotten about me, he stood me up, therefore I don't matter. Do you know that one? Or maybe somebody is looking at another woman, like say your partner is looking at another woman, and immediately you feel insecure and you think, oh, I'm not as pretty as she is, so I'm not good enough, and he probably likes her better. But you're having actually a good relationship, and you're having a nice, loving exchange there, and you do like and love each other on a soul level. And this insecurity is only because the outside looks. So when you don't investigate that, you will keep thinking, I don't look pretty enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not as good as she is. And therefore you keep that belief that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough. And then, you know, it comes all together to, I'm just not enough. But you have never investigated. So you keep believing that belief, you keep repeating it, but you've never investigated. And that's how it grew. Most people do not investigate. Most people keep working on the outside scenarios. They try to change other people's point of views. They try to convince them, look, but I can do this, or you try really hard to perform better, you know, something like that. And therefore you're going to actually drain your energies even more. So you first have the drainage of the energy lack of believing I'm not worthy, I'm not important, I don't matter. That's a very low energy, and it basically drains away the energy that you could have from your highest self, from your true self. So you are identified with a low self-esteem identity. This is what you need to recognize. You need to recognize that you have a lot of beliefs and thoughts and assumptions in you that create an identity that says, I'm not good enough, I don't matter, nobody wants me. And therefore you never attract partners, relationships that are fulfilling, that are loving, that are giving and taking in the same quantities. And, you know, you cannot feel whole because you still need that love from another person. And that's always unhealthy. So I'd like you to actually do this first step. And please don't skip it, because this is easily done. You think, oh, I don't need to do this. Or I already know. But if you really take time and the intention to uncover all the thoughts that you are having that are creating your lack of self-esteem, your lack of self-worth. And then you can see on paper all those thoughts and beliefs. Thoughts are thinking patterns that keep coming back, but they are kind of new maybe. But beliefs are ingrained thoughts that you have thought over decades, and you really have created a belief that's now like a record or like a software in the computer, and it keeps coming up automatically. Thoughts are easier to change. You can decide in an instant and say, I don't want to tolerate that anymore. I'm not going to allow myself to think that. But the beliefs can't be changed that quickly. Normally, sometimes, but mostly we need to rewire that belief. We need to take effort. We have to take energy and intention and a decision to change that belief and erase it or shift it around with a different belief. So when you know the beliefs that you are actually thinking, you can also then create beliefs that you would love to think. As an example, like yesterday, it was the day before the summer solstice, a very powerful day where a lot of high light came to the earth, which could be actually read in the Schumann resonance. and I could feel that the old patterns that I thought I dealt with, they came up to the surface, and I have dealt with them, but they came up kind of like one more time kind of thing. And there is one belief that I had, like basically since I was 3, and it says, whatever I do, it's not going to work. Like I can't gain, I can't win, I can't succeed. It's not going to work was kind of like the basic belief. And I could feel how that belief was gripping my attention. It was overshadowing me with its energy of hopelessness and you will never succeed and that's it. And you know, I am a Cancerian, so I identify with my feelings and I just believe it. And if I stay there, I will never able to get out of that. I will be like that for the rest of my life. So I have to raise my awareness. I have to become more aware of what am I actually thinking. And that's why that exercise of writing down your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, everything that's going on in a journal every day. And then you can see how you changed. You can see what you're actually believing and focusing on, because what you're focusing on grows. And if you're not going to change those patterns and those beliefs and thoughts, you're not going to change your identity. So I noticed that really debilitating, grabbing feeling that pulled me down into believing I will never be successful. And I stopped it and I realized, what could I think instead that's the opposite, that would actually uplift me? And this is what I like you to do, to empower yourself again, to come back to self-love. So I created a belief that I started creating. Everything I do is always working out. Whatever I do is going to work. I am succeeding with whatever I do. I already have succeeded so many times because look, here I am. I'm still alive, right? And our brain wants us to focus on the events where we are so-called didn't succeed. We failed. But that was just a learning. That was just an experience. And the brain chooses to focus on the negative stuff all the time. So our task is it to now come up with a positive outcomes. So write out a list as well of where you are good enough. Or what do you feel you need to do that you are good enough? Or that you feel worthy enough. So come up with a scenario where you will feel worthy enough. And then focus on that. And then come up with a belief that you want to install instead of the one you don't want to have anymore. And it must feel like immediately uplifting and relaxing and easy. Yes, that's what I want. That feels good. So, and then your task is to actually say it out loud, you know, so many times every day. Write it out a few times, 5 times in a row, and then in the evening again, write it out 5 times or say it to yourself. Best before you go to bed, because then your subconscious mind is working with it and it's actually keeping it there easier. So what I do is I write out the beliefs I want to create and install and make a new belief out of it. So it's in my subconscious mind. And then I read it out before I go to sleep, or I've also recorded it into my phone and I just listen to my own voice, hearing what I wish to believe and like stating it in I am successful with ease. It's so easy for me to get everything working. It's always working out. And I love the way I work. I love what I'm offering. I love my work. I feel so fulfilled. And I'm able to help my clients transform their lives. And how wonderful is that? It also is very good to state a power statement like, isn't it wonderful that I am now always successful? Or that I am now feeling so good about myself? Isn't it wonderful that I love myself exactly the way I am? These power statements are very, very powerful. But say them in a way that's playful, that's relaxing, that's easy. And yes, of course it is that way. Naturally, it's like already that way. So you feel it already being present now. You already feel it now. That's it. And then if you do it if you use those statements before you go to sleep, that's the most powerful time. Okay, so now you've written it all out, you've got new beliefs that you want to install, and you are aware of what has been creating your issues of self-worth, because that's the very first step, right? And now you get a feeling of why you felt unworthy, why you couldn't love yourself. It's because of a whole lot of thoughts and beliefs, right? And those beliefs and thoughts create feelings, and these feelings grab you and they make you feel low, and they might drive you into depression. And that whole form, that whole package there is the ego self. It's the identity that you think you are. It's the lower self, it's the little self, it's the ego mind. And basically, that ego mind, and I actually call it ego mind because that identity is based on thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. So therefore, it's a mind, it's part of the mind. Now, when you are able to observe it and you are able to see yourself thinking those beliefs and thoughts, you are moving out of that identity. You're not fully in it anymore, and you're moving away now. So it's a really good practice to talk to yourself in the third person when you're in that ego self. And you're observing yourself, she's now feeling a lack of self-worth, and therefore she's feeling maybe some guilt, some shame, some hurt. And I see she's now feeling upset and she's trying to blame her partner, something like that. So you're observing, and just that, and no longer being identified with your persona that you created via your ego mind. Notice what else is present. There is a very slight shift you can take, or you can do, when you notice that there is another energy present that is observing all of that. And that energy is your pure consciousness, that we are all connected to, that we all are. And when we are in that consciousness, everything feels easy. I just had that shift, I think it was about two days ago. And it was very subtle and very easy and very slight and very, very subtle, yeah, very calm. And I just slid out of that identity. I didn't want to allow those thoughts. I didn't want to be in those thoughts. It's basically like you're in a room full of people who talk a lot of negative stuff, and you're realizing, I don't really want to hear all that. I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to perpetuate all that. So I'm going to slip quietly out of the door so nobody notices. And I'm going to choose to slip into the other room where there is the energy of ease and peace, love and expansion, freedom to be yourself. And that is the energy of who you truly are. That's your true self. So when you're hanging out with your true self, you just feel at ease, and you know that everything is possible. You know that you can absolutely feel worthy and love yourself. You just have to stay in that room, in that realm of infinite love. There you are, actually infinite love. You don't need love, you don't look for love, because you are love. You don't need love, you don't need peace, you don't need to relax, you don't need to unstress, because you just are at peace. But the most profound thing that I noticed there was everything is so easy. So you can start with that intention. How could I make this easier? How could I detach from that stress and worry and fear and lack of self-love? And then just allow yourself to slip into easiness, into peace and love and joy. It is an experience that cannot be programmed, or it cannot come about by doing step 1, 2, and 3. It is an event that happens once you already know that there is the two realms, the two selves that are always there in you, and you always have the choice: where do I want to reside in? Who do I want to be? And the more you are residing in the true self, in your true higher self, in the highest version you are, the more the little me, the ego mind, is going to diminish, because you're not feeding it, you're not giving it any focus. And that's a practice that I've actually started when I was just at the beginning of my 30th year. And I realized, and I knew, and I learned that it's me who has to achieve that. Nobody on the outside can give me the love and then I will be fine, and now I'm confident and now I can love myself. That's not the way. That's not the way it's happening. See, then what happens when that person goes again? You haven't achieved your own worthiness. You haven't built your own bank account. So when I was about 30, I started building my own bank account of my own self-love. I didn't want to rely on anybody else. And I had to go through my stories and experience my stuff that I've experienced, and in order to learn it. Because everything we learn, and there might be relationships that are not very easy, we are learning to love ourselves though. Sometimes life gives us very hard lessons, so that you will decide, no more. I am no longer tolerating this. That's what life wants you to do, because that's what you need to decide. Nobody can decide that for you. So you need to decide, no more self-love issues, no more self-worth issues. From now on, I'm going to empower myself and love myself as I am. I don't need anything. I don't need anybody. I don't need to change. I just need to accept myself the way I am, back myself up with my own love, and know that I can always go into the realm of my true self, where I already have the love and the peace and the freedom that I am looking for. If this video helped you, please subscribe to my channel to get more inspiring, uplifting self-empowerment insights and practices. Please like it and ask me a question or share something so more people will see this video. And because my mission really is to help you to empower yourself, so more women and men find the self-love that they really need in order to really live the life that they want to live and to fulfill their soul mission. And by doing that on the individual level, we are also spreading it further, and we are helping society as a whole to become a lot more loving. And if that's something you'd love to do as well, please let me know. Write a little comment and say, I agree. That would be amazing. Okay, take care of yourself, love yourself as you are, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.